candle lit. I've been reppin' ever since. Incense burning, frankincense. I fell in love with the scent. Blue bought the cover the French. 7 branch candle lit. I've been reppin' ever since. Incense burning, frankincense. I fell in love with the scent. Blue bought the cover the French. Read them from front to the end. I fell in.
Shalom, Holy Nation. Welcome back to Righteous Reaction Live, episode 2. Got my man's Jake Juvell in the building, man. Man, I'm telling you, I reached out to this brother because I'm telling you, he got some flow right here. This is definitely one of the artists that I really like to enjoy and chill and listen to. And he got a different style, and it's just unique. You know what I'm saying? Just unique. My man, I see y'all out here up in the chat, man. I see No Name Servant.
Yeah,
I see you do it for the nation. You know what I'm saying? Vern, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna read all these names. You know what I'm saying? But I see y'all in the chat, though. Like I said, my Big 12 in the chat if y'all here, if y'all watching. But yeah, man, this is Jake Juvell, man. So for all of the people that
stress on the Juvell, because a lot of people be saying Jake Juvell, Jake this, Jake that. Make sure they pronounce it the right way.
Hey, man. So how do you pronounce it?
The way you said it, Jake Juvell.
Okay, Jake Juvell. Okay. Look, y'all heard her. Don't mess up the Juvell. No, but first let's talk about the name. Where did the name come from?
The name Jake. My first name is Jacob. Jake is just that. Just a short form. My mom used to call me Jakey as a kid. Jake. So, yeah. And then the Juvell was kind of like it's kind of it's a name, but it's a combination of 3 words. So it was the 3 words I put together was journey, victory, and Israel. So I kind of just combined those 3 words together.
Hey, I see why you said don't mess the name up. It got a meaning to it. You know what I mean? It got a meaning to it. Okay. Got a little substance to that name. Wait, no, look. Run that back. Yeah, run that back to me. You said journey.
Journey.
You gotta say it again.
Yeah, so it was journey, victory, and Israel.
Victory.
So I kind of just put those 3 words together, came up with Juvell, and it kind of worked because it sounds like a name. It actually is a name. I actually looked it up. I see people do have that name, right? So, yeah, that's where kind of that came from, right? Because I'm on a journey. You know what I mean? This is the journey we're on. Every day is we're on this path. You know what I mean? And I gotta win.
So really, so really, your name means Jake's journey for victory to Israel. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's really what it means. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it means, man. That's great. Yeah. That's actually dope, bro. But yeah, that's crazy. I would have never guessed, bro. I would have never guessed. I thought that Jake Juvell would probably just
they just think it's my middle name or
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, man. So tell the people a little bit about you. You know what I'm saying? Where you from?
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
I'm north of the border, so I know a lot of you guys are, in the States and whatnot. But yeah, I'm out in Toronto, born and raised. Yeah, man. I've been doing this music. I've been doing this music for probably since I was 14, but I just started to go publicly with it. I've been doing a lot of Israel music from when I was a child, right? Because I don't know if you guys watched my previous stuff, but my parents they left Christianity.
Oh, froze up for a second, bro. No, I can't. I don't know what just happened. Look at the enemy trying to stop it from happening. Yeah, there we go.
Because I have an office in front of the house. Every time someone turns my car on to move it, the Bluetooth connects automatically.
Oh, yeah. I know how that be. I definitely know how that be. Man, I be having that same issue. But like I would be leaving and then my Bluetooth would be up in the car, you know what I'm saying? And then music just start blasting. I'm like, man, what
Yeah,
kids, I know how that Bluetooth
yeah.
to show
I don't know
that.
how much you caught what I was saying.
No, I think the last thing I heard was you said your parents and then they cut out.
Right. So I was saying, my parents. So I've been doing this music for a long time, but it's just recently I started to come publicly with it, right? My parents, they left Christianity very early in their life, so they're probably about. My mom was about 20, 21. My dad was 23, 24. So when they left, that's when I was born. So I was kind of born knowing my identity, right? I was kind of born, right. And then from there, I was kind of raised in the Israelite culture. But the thing is, we were very secluded because, like I said, we're in Toronto, so there's not a lot. It's not a big movement over here, right? So I grew up in school a lot where I had to pretty much separate from the class a lot of the times because they be doing like Christmas, Halloween, Easter, stuff like that, right? And I'm always separated.
I got a question about that. How is that experience? Because I always thought that was like really, it's a tough situation for like a lot of kids. But like, explain on how that experience, like, you know, either helped you or, you know what I'm saying?
So with that now, it kind of didn't really come. My parents always made light of the situation, right? They'll be like, oh, don't worry about it. They're going to get cavities. You don't need all that candy. So I'll be like, oh, okay, fine. Yeah, let them get cavities. But like on our, like what they would do to like, I guess, compensate for that is like when our New Year came around, and when we do like Purim and stuff, they would give us gifts, right? To make us not feel kind of as bad. We see, like, you know, you're growing up as a kid, you're seeing all these kids getting Game Boys and getting PlayStations and all this. And you're like, well, what about me? What am I getting? You know what I mean? So to combat that, my parents kind of just, on our holy days and our holy times, would be like, you know what? Here you go. Here's a new year. We're giving, you know, thanks for a new year. This is a bib season. Let's celebrate. I got you this. It wasn't no like something they had to do, but it was just to make you feel good as a kid. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's crazy because like growing, you know what I mean, coming into this truth and like raising my kids up now in truth, that's one thing that I, you know, try to learn, you know what I'm saying, how to really do, you know what I'm saying? So it's actually really dope that y'all do that for like, or that they did that for you, so you can like feel like you had this, you know what I'm saying? Like this is a part of you. I mean, this is part of your culture, and that you could still not really feel so secluded because you had something for yourself. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people, the one question that they would ask is like, well, if we got to give up these things, then what is going to be replaced with it? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, like, that's real dope that your parents was able to, you know, give you that, saying still in return, you know what I'm saying, and it all be for the Most High. So that's definitely.
And that's why I feel it kind of combated that feeling of feeling left out. You know what I mean? And like I said, plus it was a small movement here at the time, right? This is I'm 27 now, right? So imagine 27 years ago, nobody really knew the term Israelite, right? I used to tell people I'm Israelite, and be like, what is that? Everybody, you know what I mean? So now I feel kind of comfortable, like, oh, I gotta, you know, you go somewhere by yourself, you're as timid, but now you have a whole group and you're like, okay, yeah, we're here. Like, you know what I mean?
We're together.
And that's what it was. That's why a lot of music I did kind of privately. I would do music on my own, like just.
Oh, so it was private because
I didn't know
you was making music for the Most High, but nobody would like really understand.
Right. And I just felt like, why am I putting this? No one's gonna really understand it. So it was more for me. You know what I mean? I started doing music just more for me and a form of worship, just to get my emotions down on paper and stuff like that. So I'll do like little projects here and there. But the first project I did when I was 14, and I called it what did I call it? Humble Beginnings. I did Humble Beginnings, and then I did another one called Reporting for Duty. Those are my first two projects. It's not out there. I still have it. I can put it out there later.
Hey, look. That was my next question. Do you still have it? Because if you do, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to hear Young Jay. I'm trying to hear Young Jay.
You're like, no. here.
Hey, look, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
judge. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. So when I was 14, that's when I first started this I guess truth music is what it's labeled now. Back then I didn't have a title. I just called it, I don't know, just worship, praise, whatever. Right now there's an actual title for it. So and then yeah, so that's how it started. And then, you know, fast forward years later, where it's just like I felt like if you have a talent, why conceal it? You know what I mean? Why and then plus I started to notice there was a kind of awakening happening where there's a lot of people starting to wake up to this identity, right? So I'm like, you know what? I gotta go out there now. I gotta start pushing and pretty much just put my talents to use, right? It doesn't give you a talent that you're not supposed to use. So I felt, you know what? Let me go out there now. I feel more developed as an artist, as an individual. I feel more confident spiritually. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you know what? Now's the time to let me just. And then to my surprise, there was a whole community already established. Like I seen guys like
So you just like feel like all the way like secluded, but then it was like this door open, and it was just like,
yeah,
oh snap!
Like the first artist I came across was Sleepy. That's the first artist I ever saw in this kind of music. I saw Sleepy.
Question: how long ago was that? Was it like
this was 2019?
Oh,
yeah,
dang.
2019 is when I kind of just said, you know, I'm going public with it.
Right.
And then when I went public, I started typing in Israelite, Hebrew hashtags, right? And then I was like, I click the hashtags, and I see all this music. And I'm like,
yeah,
is this what I've been missing out on? All this has been going on, and I didn't even know about this, right?
Ah, that's crazy.
Then, yeah, I saw Sleepy, and I saw Humble. I saw there's a few guys I saw. I think Hezekiah I saw. So a lot of these guys I saw were already doing that, and then I'm just like, okay, that's the cue for me to be like, all right, it's time to, you know, do what you got to do as well. So that's how it kind of started with me coming publicly. But like I said,
it's like you've been in the game for a minute, but you know what I mean, like you new to the game at the, you know what I mean. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Yeah. Like I haven't met a lot of people that's like around your age that's like been in it, you know what I'm saying? Or like at least not have a conversation with you that's actually in it. So it's like real interesting to know, like see how y'all grew up like that, you know what I'm saying? Because the first thing that I said when I came into the truth, I was like, man, I wish I would have known this from, you know what I mean, birth.
Right.
That would have been a blessing, you know what I'm saying? But then hearing people that did it, it's like, oh man, that just makes it even more precious, especially for like the kids now that's growing up into it. It's like, oh man, this happened before. Like we can. You know what I mean?
I feel the ones even growing up in this time now, they're at a better advantage now because we're stronger in numbers now. Whereas back, like I said, when I was growing up, nobody knew, nobody heard of it. Like it was unheard of, right?
And it's like nowadays, if you young and say you an Israelite, people will be like, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They might not agree, but they're like, okay, I understand what you on. You know what I'm saying? Back then, it was like.
Then it was always, I'm an Israelite. You're an Israeli? You're Jewish? No, I'm an Israelite. You're Jewish? No, it's like I always had to explain myself. Now I'm at a point where I don't have to explain myself no more, and that's what I love. So,
yeah. So how was Toronto like? When you grew up, did you like have a lot of like friends and stuff like that you just like, or like you probably had like a select group of friends, but like, did you ever like try to get them hip to anything or you know?
When you're a child, you're just worrying about playing basketball or running up and down. But the one thing they did know is that when Christmas time came around, autumn time came around, don't call Jacob for nothing. Don't wish me no happy Valentine's Day. They knew that, right? So that's one thing they.
So I got a question. Was that established like immediately, or did they have to like learn it? Like the other people that was talking with you, or like would try to, because I know people try to influence you to do things. You know what I'm saying? So was it like a urge from other people to try to get you to do it, or was it like, oh no, I understand and respect that?
Because what happened is my parents took it very seriously, so they would write letters to the school, writing letters saying, don't give my son pork. Don't give my son this. He doesn't do Halloween drawings. He doesn't do Christmas. He doesn't do. He's like literally. They used to write a note and give it to the principal saying we don't partake in this. And the thing is, it wasn't just me. Like I had my brothers there, my sister was there, and a few of my cousins, right? So they started to brand us as this gang, Israelite gang, because whenever one would be in trouble, we'd all pull up. Like all my cousins just be like, "Yo, what's going on?" Right? So they always used to like give us this label because we were always so close, right? So it made it a bit easier that I had a bit of cousins in there with me too, but it was harder. I was in the class alone, and that's what changed it, right? So only lunch I would see them, but class time I was by myself. So that's how it kind of worked.
That's what's up. So, I just had a question that came to mind about it's like growing up, and it's so interesting seeing people that's actually grew up knowing from birth. And I know like nowadays it's like a lot of tug from certain people, like when parents try to get their kids to like stop doing this and stuff like that, and it's like they don't honor the parents not opinion, but they don't honor they faith, you know what I'm saying? So like, oh yeah, I know your parents said you can't have that, but here's the goodie bag, you know what I'm saying? Right. So it's crazy that people don't honor our beliefs like they honor other beliefs. You know,
you have certain Jewish holidays, they shut the whole school down, right? When it was Passover and stuff for me, and certain, you know, like certain days I'd be like, I can't come to school. Well, your parents have to write you a note saying why, da 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 da. But when other people had their Ramadan and this, that, or whatever, it was no problem. It was half the school was missing.
It was just accepted. It was just accepted. It wasn't like no, That was another question I wanted to do. Like they took you out of school, so so you can keep those high holy days. And that's I'm definitely gonna have to do that with my children for sure.
Yeah, it's a little easier nowadays because, like I said, the awakening. That's
right.
And all this Black Lives Matter stuff that's going on, right? So they don't really want to mess around with certain things. They end up on social media, you know what I mean? So back then when you didn't have the social media, like it was very hard. It was very hard to maneuver through that, right? But you know, that's why I put the name Journey in my name, because just thinking of where I was as a child and just having to maneuver, you know, going through high school and still having to remember you're an Israelite. You can't, you know what I mean? You can't be certain things, right? So, man, that's where the name comes from.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So did you have like anybody like inspired you to do like this music? Like how did that come about?
Yeah. So I have my two uncles, man. They I can't remember what was the name of the group, man. Children of the Prophets is what they called themselves.
They were doing it big out there. Hey, they were big out there in Canada. Hey,
Children of the Prophets, and my dad was a part of that group, and just seeing them rap and do their thing, and that's how it sparked in me, right? And then the first time I ever did a song, we did like this little gospel show in Toronto at Northwood Library, this library in Toronto, and I was doing a song, but they remixed Psalm. I think it's Psalm 150 or something like that, and they remixed it. Praise him with the timbrel, praise him with the stance, praise him. That's how we praise him, God. And then that's how it kind of started. And I was about like 9, 10, right? And that's from there. I'm like, I love this feeling. I like how that felt. And then
also so did they had you on stage at that age?
Yeah. And then my mom, her and my dad used to sing songs. I still have the old. It sounds very, you know, the old school song sounds very like cassette type, like yeah. So that I would say those are my biggest inspirations. So they pushed it into me, and I guess they kind of just came down just naturally, right? Where I just started picking up writings. I used to read through my dad's lyric book, and then, you know, try to duplicate it or emulate it. Like that's how it started, really.
That's crazy, cause it's like a whole different world. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, cause like I grew up and I had like the same experience. My dad was in a band and he did music and stuff like that, but it was always that, you know what I mean, geared to simple, you know what I'm saying, the simple things. So like for me, like that was something that just like I gravitated to. You know what I'm saying? But I enjoy music for, I guess you would say different reasons. But like you came into the music to serve the Most High, so it's like that's like a whole different. Like I can't even think like if
So you know
like
what,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
how it started, right? That's how it started. But then you know when you go through high school and you start going through certain things, and then I found myself kind of drifting from that, where I started trying to be like a J. Cole almost. Not J. Cole's like he raps about the world, but then he tries to fit in his own conscious thoughts in it, right? So I started trying to do that, right? Secular, because I used to mess with me and my cousins. We had a group called Nation's Pride, and we used to mess with it was me and my cousin, a guy named Harlem Mike, and even Tory Lanez. Everyone knows him. So we used to mess around. That's how we kind of started with our. I was about 14, 15 at that time, and that's when we started trying to, you know, let's go, let's try to make it in the rap game, right? Let's try to make it. And with that, I kind of lost that initial inspiration was to serve the Most High, right? But then it started going towards recognition of man. Like I wanted to be the best MC and the best this and the best that. Whereas like that's not how you started though, right? So, but in the meantime, I was still trying to fit pieces of me into that music, right? Where I'll be rapping about something, but I was trying to put like reference of God in there or a reference of, you know, being an Israelite without actually saying it, right? But then I started to realize like it doesn't work.
Little subtle messages. Little subtle messages.
Right. Little subtle messages. And then along the way, I just started to go through things. I'm like, yo, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, why am I trying to mix the two musics together where it's like it doesn't work that way, right? You can't be of God and of the world at the same time. And that's why I had to really evaluate. This is probably about 23. I was about 23 or 24 where I sat down. I'm just like, you know what? I really got to just pick a side. And I said, you know what? I got to pick the right side. And then from that day, I just started gearing all my music to that, right? So it started off with that. In the middle, it got kind of wishy-washy, choppy. And then I had to reevaluate and just put it straight to where it needs to be.
That's your story is actually very, very unique because that seemed like it would be that type of, you know what I mean, that type of struggle and things like that. You know, you got all the influence and all the, you know what I mean, like nobody really understands you, so then you try to like, you know, try to not to say like fit in, but like you try to be known, you know what I mean? Be known for something, so then, you know, throughout time, it's like just getting influenced by certain different things.
And it's also an ego thing, right? Because in school, I'll get a lot of love, right? I'll be walking through the hallways. Oh, that's that rapper guy. Oh, that's that rap. So you started to feel like, oh, I feel good because people know me or people notice me, right? Well, really, that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right? It matters is the Most High notice you. So if he doesn't notice you, then what you're doing, it doesn't matter. So then, man, it's just I had to really sit down and reevaluate myself and told myself, like, I'm not going to do no secular music anymore or try to mix it with it. I started doing secular music when I was about maybe 18 or so, right? 18. And that didn't last very long. That didn't last very long because, you know, my mom's just support anything you do, right? So she was supportive, but at the same time, I knew she didn't. She supported because she knew I was setting subliminals in it, right? So she understood the subliminals. But at the same time, she knew, like, it's not your calling. You know what I mean? You got to do music for the God of Israel. That's what you have to do. And
so did they ever sit you down and be like, hey, like, you know what I mean? Like, give you that pep talk, or was it just like something that you had to like?
I think it's
take in consideration for yourself.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can't bring to the horse to the water and force him to drink. You know what I mean? So it was something my mom, she would kind of just let me grow. If I know if I went too far off, she would have pulled me out of and brought me back in, right? But she knew, she's one of those things where let him grow, let him learn without being a micromanager, right? Because when you're a micromanager, you can't think for your, like when you have that over you, you can't be an independent worker, right? So
and it builds a discipline in the child. You know what I mean? Where it's like they gotta make their own choices, and you know what I mean? Like you know when you grow up, so it's like me, like I grew up in a Christian church, so it was like I would always hear like about God and the belief and everything like that, and I believed in God, but you know, the message that they were sending out didn't seem like it was geared to God. You know what I'm saying? So I always would say stuff like, why do we have to go to the church to, you know, serve God? You know what I'm saying? Or why can't I pray? You know what I mean? Like, myself, why do somebody gotta lay hands on me, stuff like that. So, but I always had the mind to be like, I would go into the world, but with the Most High on my mind, you know what I'm saying? And like, I would always get pulled back into the belief of God, regardless of what was going on. So, but so that's crazy because you said you started off with the Most High, then it started getting choppy, but you still had that with you. You know what I'm saying? He was still with you. And then now you came back to grips. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely
One
a
of those
blessing,
things, man,
because
where that I find those teenage years are very critical. You know what I mean? That those years can make or break you, right? So it was one of those that high school years, that high school time, right, where I was really just not trying to find myself, but trying to fit in, right? Because you're an Israelite, your friends are not. You know what I mean? And it was a matter of how do I move through this without losing who I am, right? And then I made the wrong decision. Times I made the right decision. So it was all a learning experience for me. And I find, you know, we're in a land of our captivity, so it's harder to. If we grew up in a land where everybody's Israelites, then I wouldn't have to have gone through that, right?
Yeah.
So definitely being in that environment, it definitely gave you some character. You know what I mean? Where it discipline, experience, and you know what I mean. It needed to happen so that I can be here right now.
Right, for sure. I strongly believe that everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because we go through things that change us to become where we are. You know what I'm saying? Where we at now. You know what I'm saying? Without those experiences, some of us wouldn't be the person that we are. So like, I strongly believe in that everything happens for a reason. It's like you have to go through that so you can really know, do I really want to serve the Most High? You know what I'm saying? And he's walking. That's a good thing that you chose.
My grandpa said something. He said he quoted the scripture. Just because you're from the seed, right? Just because you're from the lineage, it doesn't mean you know what I mean. So just because you're an Israelite by blood,
all Israel,
and that stuck with me because it's like I knew I'm an Israelite from birth, but that now means you have to act like one. And if you're not really acting like one, saying you're an Israelite it holds no weight, right? So I remember him saying that to me, and that kind of stuck with me, and that's where I really said, you know what, I gotta take some chastisement right now and just move with it, man.
So. That's what's up. That's man, your story is actually very inspiring. I know a lot of people probably in the chat can attest to that, because a lot of us didn't grow up with the Most High being the focus from birth. So we had to go through a lot of things, and not saying that you didn't, because obviously I feel like it would be a lot harder coming into being born into the truth than it is being born in sin and having to, you know what I mean, convert, because from birth you already are kind of like the outcast, you know what I'm saying, rejected of everybody. So it's just very unique. And so when did you start realizing that Toronto was now starting to have this understanding? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't even say it was Toronto. It was just more I see.
Not Toronto, but like the area.
I started to notice it around like maybe 2017, 2016, around there. And
so I'm trying to tell you, bro, 2016, 2017, the growth, I don't know what it was. The Most High definitely put that spirit around that time to wake up a mass of our people.
It was in like the last
so many people
3 to 5 years, I started to notice this big awakening where I started seeing people start calling themselves Israelite, and I'm like, oh wow, that's new to me. Because
you know what I feel, what I find is like very interesting. Not to get political, but around that time was when Obama ended his, you know, what's the name, and then Trump came off.
You know what it was? When I heard Kendrick Lamar say, I'm an Israelite, don't call me black. When was that? That was around that time, right?
Yeah, that was literally 2016.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It was just like some big change and shift in momentum for Israel to like really convert during those years. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like it's been growing ever since. But it's just really interesting that prophecy is being fulfilled through these times now. And it's like now it's more evident than you know what I mean, than it was in previous years for some of us. You know what I'm saying? You probably knew like, oh man, this world about to end like from jump. So it was like, yeah.
It was one of those things where
So,
like my parents would always talk about the 400-year prophecy, the 400-year prophecy. Our children are gonna wake up, children of Israel are gonna wake up. And it was always like a fairy tale to you, right? As growing up as a kid, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? They'd always talk about give it time, give it time, give it time, give it time. And then now, 20 years later, 27, 20, yeah, they took 20, yeah, around that time, 20 years or so, when I'm starting to see it now, this is what my parents were telling me from when I was a kid, but it was like,
I know that had to be a boost. I know that had to be a boost of encouragement, like heavy. You're like, oh snap, it's really happening. You know what I'm saying? That's a blessing right there. So for the people that's new to you and things like that, try to explain a little bit of the music that you typically create now, that you fully into truth music. You say truth.
So I mean, it's very. I try to keep it modern. I try to keep the sound. I don't know if you guys listen to Son of the First, if you guys listen to Lost Sheep. It's a modern sound. It's a very, reverb, auto tune.
We're gonna definitely talk about those albums. We're gonna definitely talk about that.
I try to keep it modern, but I'm still me on the song. It's still Israel, right? So when people listen to it, because if you're going from, I try to make it like so it could be in a competitive realm with the outside stuff, right? So if you play a baby track and you play Juvell, it's not gonna sound like this is boring. You know what I mean? They can still rock with it, even though it's truth music, right? So I try to always have that element in it where it can compete with outside music, right? So
like you have that alternative, and it seems like they're not missing anything, but really they're gaining so much. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have that negative connotation in the music. They don't have that, you know what I mean, that sinful influence in the music, but it's still rock like all the other music that they were accustomed to. So it makes the transition a lot smoother.
Right.
I definitely understand what you're saying, because I'm telling you, one track that caught my attention, and I was like, this brother is special. When I first heard Lit, you know how I feel about
what's
Lit.
funny with that song? That's the first song I wrote for that project. So that the tone for that whole project. That was the very first song I wrote. Yeah. So,
so, all right. So, I guess we're gonna get into the music since we already here, man. We already here. So, we gotta talk about Lit, man. I have to know what inspired you to write Lit. Like what? Where was your mindset when you wrote Lit?
Man, Lit was really. It was Sabbath day, right? And this was after service, because we keep our service with our family and whatnot. We had the incense going, the blue borders and whatever, right? But on those type of days, I always try to, I try not to deviate my thoughts on that day, right? So even though the service is done, there's still a whole day, right? The day's not over. So I try to keep my thoughts focused on the day. So that day was I was just looking through YouTube beats, whatever, right? When I found one beat, and then from there, I just started coming off of what I just experienced, right? So I had the 7-branch candle lit, incense burning, frankincense. I fell in love with it because I kept saying, put more frankincense, because when it burns, because when it starts to burn up, it starts to get this feeling in your throat where it's like it starts to become very smoky. So I just kept saying, put more frankincense, and I love the scent of it, right? It just smells good to me. So that's kind of how that song came about. It was actually written on that day, like that day I wrote the song. So it was really just I came off a Sabbath day and I was just like, let me just try to make the most of this day and see what comes out.
Right.
And then that's the first song I wrote. And
That's
then
what
after I wrote the
right
song,
there.
I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do an album. And at this time, mind you, I didn't know there was a true music community out there. Like I had no idea. So yeah, that's just how it went.
Yeah, that song definitely. When I first heard, I'm like, I was listening to the chorus, and I'm like, 7 branch candle lit. You know what I'm saying? I've been repping ever since, and since burning frankincense, I fell in love with the scent. I was like, the blue border to cover the fringe. I was like, oh my god! And it hit so hard when the beat. So it was like,
yes. and that's what I'm trying to say. Like you gotta have that element of if you're playing Chief Keef for somebody, you know what I mean, and then you play me, it has to have that same like. You gotta rock with it, right?
Definitely did. The crazy part is like I was going through because my thing was I just used to literally go on SoundCloud. I don't even know how I found you, which is crazy.
No, a lot of people tell me that. Even King Easy just hit me up like I just found you. I don't even know how.
Yeah, bro. And I think what it is you say you put hashtags, right?
Yeah, hashtag.
I think I might have hit I think it might have pinned on one of the hashtags or something like that. Drop a lit in the chat, bro. Drop a lit in the track, man. That song is fire, for real. But yeah, I was just going through all of the tracks and it just popped up. I think at the time it was the whole popped up. And I was looking at songs and I was listening to I think I listened to Questions, if I'm not mistaken. And I was like, dang, this is a nice song. But I didn't listen to the whole thing because I was just like going through songs. And then I was just looking through your playlist and I was like, lit. I wonder what that's about. And I clicked on it and immediately I wasn't even trying to listen to the song. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to see what it was about. And I'll just notice that I listened to the whole song and I'm like, yeah, this is
I feel
nice.
that title caught a lot of people because a lot of people like that litty slang, right? Be litty, be lit, this, that. It's when they see that, like, oh, what's this about? You know what I mean? How is he gonna? A lot of people come into it not just to see; they're probably just curious of how is he gonna spin Bible on that saying lit.
That's what that was my thing too because I was like lit. That's what I was like. I wonder how he's gonna spin this to make it, you know what I mean, dear to the Most High. So I'm like, let me listen to it, and then the chorus, I was like, that's if you can spin a word that, you know what I'm saying, to, you know, I was like, oh man, that's when I knew. I was like, oh yeah. He's gonna be on the radar for sure. Like I'm gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, keep up with what he bringing out. And that track was definitely fire. And I was like, all right, what time to listen to the album? I was like, I can't wait no more. I was like, I had to see what else was up on there. You know what I'm saying? Insomnia. You know what I mean? That was a great track. You know what I mean? Questions. What was that? I think Correct. That was like you had some bangers on there for sure. But it was like, oh man, okay. And then when I was looking for you, that's what it was. I started searching your name up because I'm like,
you hit me up my thing asking for the cover art. I'm like, who's this guy? What's this guy asking me for my cover art? Yeah, because that I think it was either that because I ran to my wife. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I ran to my wife and I was like, babe, you gotta listen to this track. You gotta listen to this track. And then I was like, I have to react to this because this is different. Like this is completely different. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh yeah, he definitely go crazy. So then that's when I hit you up for the cover art. And then after I hit you up for the cover art, I started looking you up on YouTube to see like what other tracks you had in that. That's when I ran across the Insomnia video. And I think this was like, you just started posting that. So it was like probably like a month. It was like probably a month after. Or something like that I found the song. So I was like, oh yeah, I was like, this is I was like, I'm gonna keep it, man. Hashtags, that's powerful, man. It can bring a whole community together just off a hashtag.
And the crazy part is during that time I was doing little hashtag research, but now I'm really getting into the hashtag game and stuff like that. hashtag for the nation. You gonna find everything up on my channel. You just type that in, like legit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, dang, this is how long has this been so far?
I don't even know. I don't even know. We just started on the music, man. We like.
Yeah, man, this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's popping. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely popping. So, so run me down like how you come up with like your music. Does it usually be like how you created lit, or is it just like what's up?
It first off, the beat has to catch me, right? If I'm not feeling the beat, I can't really, you know what I mean? Like I just can't do what I want to do if I'm not feeling the beat. So I'm telling you, my beat searches, they go for hours, man. They really go for. I mean, I used to make
that one that catch your ear immediately. Do you write to it immediately when it catch your ear, or like if you can like because when I used to do music, I would every time a beat come on, if I can immediately freestyle something good on it, you know, I know that's what it is.
That's
you know
literally how it goes. Like I'll be driving, I just have my YouTube, and I'll just be like going through beats or whatever. And if I find a beat I like, I just start freestyling, and I'll make like little voice notes so I don't lose the cadence and lose the flow and whatnot. And then
hey, I promise, keeping the cadence the way that you intended it is so hard if you don't put it down. You don't jot that thing down, or you don't record it or something. That is the hardest thing ever. Because you go back to the beat and you like, I'm about to spit this, and it's just not rhythm. Like no rhythm.
If you write down the lyrics, you know, record how you sound. Even the lyrics, you be like,
that's what I'm saying.
How did I do this? And then so I gotta get the beat. I start freestyling, and depending how the beat makes me feel. If the beat makes me feel like talking about some, you know, Bun Babylon, then I'll start talking about Bun Babylon. If the beat makes me feel like talking about, you know, Daughters of Zion or whatnot, I'll start talking about Daughters of Zion. So it all depends on how it makes me feel, right? And then just from there, I just start.
Okay, so the beat kind of determines what kind of topic you usually.
Right.
That's dope.
So I feel like certain topics go with certain vibes. You know what I mean?
Like beats and stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's actually it's like when I see somebody do something different on a beat that don't seem like, you know what I'm saying? Like say you do like a trap beat, but then you hear some R&B on it. It sounds weird. You know what I'm saying? It sounds weird. Like it don't sound like it's supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta come with like a very different, unique flow to catch and grasp somebody's attention with that type of. So I know what you mean. Can't just get on any beat and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? All right, so you got into the music. You said when you was 27. Oh no, you said not 27. You're 27 now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you got into the music when you was what, 18?
Talking actually like writing like Israel music. I was writing from when I was like 13, 14.
Okay. No, I'm talking about like then when you actually started saying like, okay, I'm about to start dropping. I'm about to start dropping this.
Yeah, I was like truth music. I was probably about 25, 26.
25. Okay, so the Son of the, was it
Son of the First?
Son of the First? Yeah, Son of the First. Yeah. Was that your first official like project coming into like saying, okay, this is my you know you would say debut album. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this my debut? Okay. For a debut, that's nice. That's nice.
And the thing is, I gotta back it up, right? So I'm working on the second project right now, and it's been crazy, man. Like a lot of things been pushed back. Like, so what happened is after Son of the First, I started working on the next project. I did Lost Sheep to kind of just be a buffer in the middle. You know what I mean? And the way how, I'll even touch on Lost Sheep. How that came about was really.
We're gonna definitely touch it. We definitely gonna touch it. I gotta ask some questions there.
About was I live with a little teenage brother, right? And he's playing the most annoying music in the house. I'm just like, oh my gosh, turn this off, please. and all I hear is this mumbling, like all day is all I hear, and I'm just like, yo, let me just get on all these beats and just body all them, but like the Israelite style, you know what I mean? So I started looking up, okay, who's this guy? This is I never heard of Lil Baby before. Who's this guy? Lil Baby? Okay, he did it. Okay, let me get on this. Who's this guy? Lil Baby? I'm like, why is there so many babies? All right, let me get on this guy. And then,
why is there so many babies? Hey.
So,
It was just like I think Baby is like the new Little. Like from when we was growing up, you know, everybody's name was Little, so now everybody named Baby. So you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
And then it just clicked to me because I'm like, yo, all these guys are so lost. Like, what are these guys talking about? Every song, every beat is the same thing they're talking about. Like I can listen to one song, like, okay, let me listen to the next song, talking about the same thing. Next song, same thing.
Same exactly.
And I just say, yo, these guys, this is really lost. And I find it like sheep. No, they're lost, and they're also sheep.
Just following. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I said, you know, let me get on all the worldly music, top 10 or whatever, and just go on it and body it how I would do it, right? So that's how that came about. And
part 2, right? Part 2 coming?
What's that?
Part 2?
Oh yeah,
part 2.
I'm gonna go to a lot part 2.
All right. That's all I need to know. That's all I need.
I'm doing a part. I already started. I'm already like 2 tracks deep already on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so I did Lost Sheep, and then what happened is the guy who did Son of the First, he caught a heart attack. So he's my engineer. He's the guy that does all my music and stuff like that. He caught a heart attack, and he was out for a bit. So I said, you know what? Let me. His son mixes music, so I'm like, okay, let me try his son. So I mixed with his son. His son wasn't that good. It was okay, and then we got into a little argument money-wise. He was charging me for time that, I don't know, man. These guys I just wasn't feeling it. I felt like you guys are not doing me right. You're trying to charge me for time that you know, you're not working and stuff like that. So anyways, I stopped dealing with them, and then I said, no, I got to start doing my own production. And that's why there's such a big delay from Son of the First to this next one, because along that way, my engineer got sick. And then when he came back, he wasn't the same. Like the sound, I don't know if something went wrong with his ears or something. Like all the mixes he sent me, I'm like, bro, what is this? Like this is nowhere like how you were doing it before. So, all right, let me try the son. And then the son we just kind of separated from there. So now I'm in the process of learning how to develop my own sound and mix my own music, right? So,
and that might just be the Most High
trying to tell me,
letting you know, like, yeah, this is, you got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, think about it. You think David made his own music. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the kind of mindset that we should be in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where we can
self-dependent. You know what I mean? Self-reliant. Where I don't.
Because then nobody can stop your production from happening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can work all the time. You can, you know what I'm saying, get whatever you got to get done. So yeah, definitely
I can take money and put it towards like visuals, because visuals I feel people need that more than just the audio, right? So
I've been trying to tell brothers, man. That's why shout out to Sleepy, shout out to Shadazawar, and you know what I'm saying, all the other brothers that have been visual, because visual, it's power in those visuals. You know what I'm saying? Because it's good to hear the music and stuff like that, but when you can like really see what their intentions is, you know what I'm saying, with the visuals, or just to have that vibe, you know what I'm saying, to where you can like enjoy it even more. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's definitely something good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So that's pretty much why the delay is pretty much I'm trying to learn how to mix, get my sound right, and do all this without having to rely on the people I used to, because you know what I mean, I definitely know it was done for a reason. It's for me to kind of grow and, you know, be more productive, and then once I get my own, I can just start banging out, because I don't have to book slots now. Hey, can you fit me in? Oh no, you don't have time. Okay, can you fit me in on this day? Because this guy was a busy guy, right? So I always have to find a slot and work on his time. But now it's like, I mean, my time now where I can just put together what I want when I want. So definitely it's looking good, man. Project should be done in about 4 weeks or so. So
even sooner than I thought, you know what I mean? Hey, Hey, so y'all heard that, right? Nah, we gonna hold him to it because he new to it. So something might happen.
Yeah.
But we got our eyes on it. You know what I'm saying? We got the ears to the streets. You feel me? We trying to hear what you coming out with.
And also too,
okay,
if
so
anyone's watching and wondering why I haven't gotten back with a feature or something, that's why. So there's a lot of guys that owe verses too, man. Like I owe Malak a verse. I owe what's his name, man? Akamar verse. I owe a few. I owe Yirmiyah. Oh, there he is.
right, so
I don't know why.
yeah, I was just on live talking to everybody else because I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they were saying that it was probably just the time limit.
Yeah, I didn't even know we had a time limit for that. That's.
See, that's the thing. Like last week when I was on here, I don't think I had a time limit because we was talking for like at least an hour 20, like at least. Because the video that I posted on YouTube was like an hour 30, and I took the clip that I had on my page and then off No Names, and then just put them together.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know.
But I guess we got an hour. I guess we got an hour to get this this interview with you.
We're on
you know what I'm saying?
crunch time now. Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna have to figure something out, man, because I don't think an hour is long enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think an hour is long enough.
It's a lot of content, man. But yeah, what we leave out? Yeah, the features. Yeah, so pretty much it's just me, just learning how to mix myself, man, and it came along. So the project's probably about 4 weeks away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so do you got a name for it?
Not yet. I was just gonna call it Glory, but then I see No Name put for his glory. I'm like, I can't rip off the man's thing. You know what I mean? So shout out to No Name too. He got 2 features on there as well. So
it's so many. It's actually so many songs that's like title Glory. So it's like I was looking and like I was searching for a specific song. I think it was a No Name song, and I couldn't find it because it was so many songs.
Yeah. So I gotta come up with a creative title. It's not gonna be this. It's not like it's more of an EP. It's more like 7 tracks on it. So
seven tracks is better than none, brother.
Yeah.
Get it going. Get it going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell them Juvell just dropped another track. You know what I'm saying?
So that's probably about 4 weeks. I shot a video when I was in Barbados, so that'll probably be.
I seen. I was watching the behind the scenes earlier too. I think that's gonna be nice. That's gonna be nice.
I actually did a scene in one of the abandoned slave huts, man, like where our forefathers were brought to and stuff like that. So I had to go in there and definitely do a scene in there, man. Just looking at it and being in there, it's like, damn, like this is where we came. This is what our people was. This is where we came down to. Like it was sad, but at the same time, it was a learning experience or one of those experiences where they say, this is not where I want to go again. You know what I mean?
Right.
So man, it was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool. But yeah, probably.
We're gonna send these out because everybody probably like, man, where did y'all brothers just go?
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? I'm gonna send some of these out so people can know we back after a long await 5 minutes.
Yeah.
King Easy, my bad, bro. I sent it to you. I know you're here, but I sent it anyway. You can have that. All right, I gotta type in somebody's name.
King Easy's supposed to be dropping soon too. I'm waiting on that, man. He's supposed to be.
Which day?
He's supposed to be dropping soon too. King Easy. So I'm waiting.
Yeah. I've been waiting on it too. I've been definitely waiting on it too. Cause he gonna be up on here. He gonna be up on here too.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He gonna I know you watching too, so don't try to run.